You are now listening to Contractor Talk with Richie Kidwell, the voice for the people. Join Richie alongside co-host property damage attorney Hans Kennon as they bring light to the taboo world of big insurance companies, exposing their tactics and fighting for justice. Hear stories from contractors across the state. Contractor Talk, here to protect homeowners and uncover the truth.
Right. Welcome to the show, Contractor Talk with Richie Kidwell, live every Monday night, 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. on this fine station right here, 94.9 FM, 950 on the AM dial here locally in Orlando. And it's funny, many times when I talk about the podcast and our guests get here, they get, whoa, wait a minute, this isn't a podcast. Yes, we're live on the radio station here in Central Florida, 94.9 FM. And then we go to podcast a few days afterwards. You'll hear us on Spotify, iTunes, anywhere else you like to stream, and as well as because we do have a face for radio, but we have the cojones to go take it all the way to YouTube. So find us there, Contractor Talk Podcast there. You can find every show, like us, subscribe us, and again, you can watch us there so you can see Hans' dapper suit of the week as goes in for a close-up, back and forth. But you'll be able to check that out. At no point will you see the same outfit twice in any episode. So I implore you to go back and watch every show just to see his fashion, just to ensure that what I'm saying is not false. Of course, if you say it on radio, it has to be true. That's what I heard. Anyways. But we are sponsored by the Restoration Association of Florida, raflorida.org. We are a nonprofit association by contractors for contractors, bringing this type of information to the consumer market, because us contractors are only as strong as our consumer laws here in the state of Florida. And so we really zero in on that. During legislative session, you'll hear Hans and I going back like the male version of The View, talking about what's going on in the Florida legislature as bills get sponsored by these crazy puppets that are putting in there. I say that from years and years of experience being in the Florida legislature, just seeing that how insurance owners of these big agencies, insurance companies, are then chairman of the Banking and Insurance Committee in the Senate, and how they control the bills going in and out that change the marketplace. And what we saw outside of that was a bought-out governor. Yes, I voted for him twice, and I supported him through COVID, keeping our small businesses open and such. But then, man, I do not support somebody being bought out, turning into a dictatorship and running his own agenda. And I'm talking about $100 million that was given to him by the I'm broke Florida property insurance market going into crisis. They sure were able to poop out $100 million to give to Governor DeSantis. At that point, he was running for presidency, and we all saw how that worked out. But he had a lot of money left over there, because there's only so much money you can spend in Iowa, so he had so much surplus back that he got bought out. And again, this is my interpretation of what happened with that $100 million. But what we did see is that go into his campaign funds, and then we saw major law changes in Senate Bill 2D, Senate Bill 4D. You saw House Bill 837 pop right after the two special sessions in the regular session in 2022 and then 2023, in which it then took out 130-year case law, which had a mechanism in it in the state of Florida. David versus Goliath. If you were involved in an insurance dispute, any type of insurance, auto dispute, property dispute, medical dispute, life insurance dispute, and your insurance carrier was wrong, you get 100% of your indemnity. Why should you get any less? If you were owed $10,000 to replace your roof, you should get every penny of that $10,000. Well, in 2023, the death nail bill came out, was sponsored by the governor, and you sit here and think of, well, how can the governor sponsor a bill? Isn't the legislator's job to write the bills? And that I say, yes, it is. But it absolutely wasn't happening. I can tell you that myself. I was sitting, and I've told this story many times, and I love to tell this because most people don't know, is that these folks wait, especially in a controlled climate like this. I was sitting there in the bill sponsor's office a day before the bill actually came out, and I said, what do you think is going to be on this bill? Obviously, I'm concerned about the AOB, the assignment of benefits. So are all the contractors. And I want to know what's going to be on this bill, because I know something's going to go through this year. We've heard the rumors. What's going to happen? And he says, well, honestly, I don't know, but it can't possibly get any worse. And I wish I would have recorded that because it just stuck in my mind. And I go, man, I hope you're right. And he was absolutely wrong. It got so much worse, more worse, if that's a term, I'll go with it, than I could have expected, and the impact that it has on the climate in the state of Florida. And we've said it so many times that we almost go in unison when we say in nowhere were there words of the words premium reduction and all of those bill changes. And that's what it was set out to do, was reduce premiums here in the state of Florida, because that's what the crisis was about, right? The crisis was about, excuse me, we don't have enough funds in our operating account to pay for all these claims. Then you find out later on, the information finally comes out that these insurance companies were overpaying their subsidiaries to the tune of billions and billions of dollars, claiming to be broke on their main Florida company that is there to pay claims. And so you get that along with all the information of the insurance, what they call independent adjusters, coming to the Florida legislature saying, I have proof of them fraudulently changing my estimate from a full replacement to a repair, under deductible or full payments to under deductible payments and denial by under deductible of that payment, thereby being in denial. No money is forthcoming on your policy of insurance. And so we've seen this, all of this proof come out, and it's just as frustrating as the Epstein files, I'm sure, right? You're like, it's right there. It's right there. Just pick it up, And so they did nothing, and you know that the governor was behind it. He was threatening the senators and the representatives. Don't go against me. I'll run people against you in the next primaries. You will lose your seat. And so they did. They did exactly what he said. The bill came from the governor's office, and that was all of the bills: the Senate Bill 2D, the Senate Bill 4D, all that condo stuff, all that stuff. And that condo stuff, by the way, was to give something to the Democrats, because the Democrats wanted something for the people, for safety, for all of that stuff since Surfside, that building fell. So they wanted some protections put in place for these condos. And what it ended up being was just a nightmare of assessments is what it ended up being from all condo owners, because now they had to jump through hoops. 25-year recertification, 40-year building inspections, all these different things, all boom, right now, right? And so that didn't get the reaction that he wanted to get, right? He wanted to get a reaction from the people. But what he ended up getting is more pissed off condo owners because of the high assessments. And then they got the reward of getting no attorney's fees on top of that, to add insult to injury. So nothing that he did after he got bought out was good. And that was right about that 2022 year. And after that, he's just been a stuck-up dictator that was in it for the wrong reason after that point, and it just disturbed me, because I was such a good supporter of this freedom, so to speak, that he was giving to us, this independence that we were quote unquote getting with a governor like him. And it turned out being that it was what we had as a people was little too late. And spoke to many of lobbyists. I hired the lobbying firm that Adrian went to, which Adrian Lucas was the general counsel, or what do they call it? The title where you're underneath the governor.
Chief of staff?
Yeah, the chief of staff for the governor. He stepped down in, I believe, 2020 or 2021. And so somebody that was very close to him hired him, and even got closer to the governor just to find out what I already knew, but to hear it from the governor's lips of him saying, well, I'll shorten it, and I've said the story before, but I mean, he won a very narrow race in his first governorship, and I believe 2018, and he was running against the mayor of Tallahassee and Mayor Gillum. And the Florida Justice Association backed him, and to the tune of raised him $3.5 million to go against going against the incumbent DeSantis at that point. And DeSantis won by like 300 votes. I mean, it was a very, very tight race. He almost lost, and he blames the trial bar. And so he confirmed this in our conversation, that this was part of, not the reason, right? Not the catalyst, but a reason for him to really put this on the people. not only because he was getting bribed, obviously, I'm in my opinion, right? But money was given to him by the insurance lobby, and next thing you know, all these bills started coming through that they've wanted for 10 plus years, and they got every single written word that they've wanted for that last 10 years. And so it's been frustrating because I've been a part of it since 2014. You've been a part of the Florida Justice Association, Hans, through the what do they call it? The Florida Justice Association property department for so long, working with these folks that how frustrating it has been to see this happen and have nothing to do or nothing that can be done about it. But now just see that articles are coming out after Hurricane Milton and Helene came through, with 15 insurance companies that we know of, at least, have denied or paid under deductible more than 50% of all the claims filed. And that was after the law change. So you get massive law changes, you get zero premium reduction, you get still an insurance industry in crisis, right? And the premiums continue to go up. The opposite is actually happening. Now we're just getting the insurance company slow walking folks. And like we've said, it's many times here, Hans, it's like the insurance company's worst day when they deny somebody is the money that they should have paid him to begin with.
Yeah, absolutely. Just to chime in a little bit on the $100 million that the governor spent, you think it'd be hard to spend $100 million in Iowa, yet somehow he personally did that and kind of, I think, increased their GDP substantially for the entire year. I don't think Iowa's got a high GDP anyway.
No, they've got too many counties. And 99 counties.
And there's like one. It's like a quilt or something. You look at the map. So we talk about the bills. The sponsor of the bill that kind of changed everything. Those bills came out on Friday for essentially a Monday vote. Right. Late in the day usually. So what we often heard is that the legislators really never read them or couldn't get through them. The bill that went through that last was about 115 pages of very complicated, very terse language, which all got voted for, but everyone kind of in the same breath said, well, I didn't really read it, but the governor wanted it, so we're going to sign it.
Right.
Other note I made was we talked about the insurers overpaying some subsidiaries. It makes it sound like they were getting billed. They, in fact, were funneling money to the subsidiaries so their profit margins would go down, sufficient for them to be able to go back to the Office of Insurance Regulation and say, look, guys, we're out of money. This is what our expenses were, when in fact that wasn't actually true.
And those subsidiaries were admin companies, like maybe doing their payroll.
And doing, like they'd send out policies if they were requested. They'd send out forms if they were requested, handling kind of ministerial administrative functions for exorbitant rates set by their own owner, funneling money to them so they'd be viewed as being out of money to pay claims. We talked about the Democrat bill for the Surfside correction that the governor put through, which did make a lot of people upset with the high assessments and all those things. In fact, he just passed another law, just signed the law to take away a lot of those requirements and actually back those down, add another year or two here and there to try to soften the impact. Because again, like many things that went on that year, everything went too far. Right. Like no matter what it was, if it's condo, went too far. Attorney's fees went too far. Changing how everyone has to do business, all went too far. And so as hope springs eternal through either the Florida Justice Association or through the general populace, I think people are looking for things to move back a little bit more toward more of a centrist view when it comes to homeowners insurance, the things that impact that. I think everyone's kind of ready to go, I still need help when things go bad.
Right.
And you took all that away from us.
It really did. And those folks that were in the papers that were part of the 50% that were denied, paid under deductible, there used to be a hope for these folks, and they would see the billboards everywhere and say, these hurricane attorneys or whichever like that. It's like, we will float the cost for you. We will pay for, we will level up to these big monsters that are well, let's just say the insurance companies that just have seemingly endless amount of money to be able to continue to hire these big law firms to fight these claims. And so you do feel like especially now with attorney's fees being removed, was speaking to a guy today who lives in the Keys, and he didn't know that the law changed in 2022, beginning of 2023, and they started eroding our rights. He didn't know that bad faith was dribbled down to basically nothing.
Yep.
To where you have to get the action first, which most people then are like, just give me my money and run. It's been 2 or 3 years after that, and then go after them for bad faith. And so it's just not how it used to be. You used to run them concurrently, puts a time ticker and a hammer to the insurance company to say, if you continue to slow walk us, then there's penalties within this. And then there's attorney's fees, right? And so now you take both of those mechanisms away. And yes, they took away attorney's fees in the beginning of 2023 in that House Bill 837 I mentioned earlier. And so it's like, at this point, and that was for all lines of insurance, not just property, but auto. Yeah, you get in an auto accident and they don't pay you enough. Now you have to go and find your own, pay for your own attorney, pay for your own experts, pay everything up front out of pocket. And most people are just going to be like, I don't have the stomach for this. I don't have the longevity for this. I don't have the funds for this.
Well, I mean, what we've talked about a lot is that what the insurance company wants is for you as a consumer to have the least amount of sophistication possible. And they want you to know as little as possible, have resources as unavailable as possible. And so I think that the hope of it is, as you mentioned, is that I still do the work. People can still call me. I still help people, even if I have to do things on a percentage basis, which honestly I'm not happy about either, because I want to be able to make sure I can give the client all the money they need. But we certainly have found the phone continues to ring and ring often for people who I have to tell them, I have to take part of your recovery. And I still say, but if I can get you 60%, 70% of what you were owed, you came to me with zero, we can always do better than that. And so we've been helping people still along the way. So if anyone feels that they've lost the ability to find counsel to assist them in some of their insurance issues, we're still here to help.
That's right. And you were actually in a trial last week against Universal Property Insurance, and so I heard everything went favorable. So
it
amazing.
Did. It was a 5 days.
Holy cow!
5-day trial. Plus, it was over the holiday weekend, so there was no rest for the weary, as they say. So we ended up doing 4 days and worked over the weekend, and then came back on Monday to do the verdict. And
did that overshadow? Were you overshadowed by the P. Diddy trial by any chance?
it did steal our thunder. We hope we get more of a headline, but P. Diddy certainly had more crowd appeal than my case against Universal.
Right.
Although it really shouldn't. Because if you're a homeowner in the state of Florida or homeowner anywhere, you should be very interested in how it goes against your insurer. Because I can tell you, if one of P. Diddy's mansions had a problem, he'd be calling his insurance company too. And you'd be like, that's not interesting. Well, it's interesting if it's you and you got a problem and you got your roof leaking into your head at night. So there you go.
That's right. That's right. And many people don't even realize that as well. And we've talked about this on the show, especially going into storm season. It's like, how many times have you been on your roof, right? Mm-hmm. Not much for me.
No.
Like maybe one time was a big brand. I mean, even then, I can count on my hands how many times I've been on my roof, and especially going into storm season now. Storm season has already started.
There's a disturbance out there now.
There is. I think we're already in the C's or D's now.
Already. I mean, and none of them have been really near us. But yeah, there's the disturbance. They said probably I think Monday, Tuesday has a chance of forming. If only there was someone who could help me, keep my house maintained and right. up to date and ready to go for the season. If only we had that person.
if only we did.
Who would that be?
And every week, as I mentioned, we have a new guest here on the show. We talk about all different types of that's what we call it, contractor talk, right? I mean, we want to bring to you, the consumer, as well as contractors alike, more information in the not only in this industry, but we want to bring it from the perspective of other folks that work within as service providers. So we've had public adjusters here, we've had roofers, we've had electricians, we've had drywall repair guys, and all kinds of folks here. And today, and it's still a very good opportunity here where we have with Tim McCoy, with My Maintenance Man, and to talk to us about maintaining our property, especially as we're going to storm season, but just in every day. Because from what I understand, you have monthly maintenance programs, which I'm super excited to talk about here on the show. What's going on, Tim?
Hey, thank you for having me. Great to be here.
Yeah,
we've got, I was doing the handyman thing for a long time, and every time I was somewhere, people were asking me, "Hey, do you do this? Do you do that?" And I'm thinking, how can I be more valuable to my customers? So started putting together
to the reactive customers, like we were saying before. And I'm that reactive customer. I'm waiting to the garage door to just shut all the way, and then now my car is locked in there for the weekend, and I'm Tim. Hey, I probably should have had you come over and check it out, so I could have got my car out for the weekend or something, whatever it is. So I'm sure you get that call a lot.
Oh yeah, a lot of everybody wants it done right now. So
after the fact, right?
Yeah. And instead of calling me after the fact, we have monthly, quarterly, every other month. All the plans are customizable. Everybody doesn't have gutters. Everybody doesn't have water softeners. But we'll come in. Most importantly, air conditioning, making sure the filters, the drain lines. That's once the drain line fills up and that air conditioner stops. That's ugly. And then you had mentioned the roofs. Cleaning out the gutters, giving the visual to all the windows, all the entire roof. Just preventative maintenance and making sure that it still can happen, but making sure that we've got eyes on everything, your fence, your windows, and trying not to make that last minute call.
All right, that's good to know. And so tell me a little bit about yourself and your background and what got you to here.
So I had a rental property and had to do some work to it, and we decided to sell it. And shortly after that, I told my wife, I'm like, I could do this for a living. I enjoy this. And then it didn't take me long to figure out, as I mentioned, I want to be more valuable. I think I can put together some maintenance programs that would be more valuable to people, putting eyes on properties, especially for people that have rental properties that might even be out of state. They can count on somebody that's checking their plumbing, working all the water valves and the toilets, and just everything from top to bottom. And then once twice a year, you're draining your water heater. And you're cleaning out those dryer vents that we hear about, from time to time, catching fire.
Yeah.
And something that's really important and nobody really thinks about, monthly checking your GFCI breakers, checking your smoke detectors. How's your fire extinguishers? Do you even have any? So I've got
the water hose in the kitchen, the one in the island that goes.
The one you spray on the oil fire.
Right, exactly. Right.
Yeah,
that's what I heard you're supposed to do.
And I get a lot of just can't think of the word. It just makes me feel really good when I especially I can help somebody that's not able or they're not they just don't have the know-how, and I can make sure that their the smoke detectors are working, or the fire extinguishers, or even get them for them.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. And what is your background? Have you been in maintenance for a while?
Well, starting out, married, children, you either got to be able to afford it or you got to figure out how to do it yourself, right? So I started doing everything myself, and then got a couple rentals, and we're maintaining those. And then just got in the business, and I really enjoy, just the work of fixing. And now my wife will tell me we need a handyman at my house.
Yes.
And she might be right.
You might have to get signed up on this maintenance program, this monthly one right here.
Yeah. The other thing I really enjoy is I've got a network of other handymen. I've got a network of air conditioning plumbers.
For the one-time events, for something that needs right now, build a wall right here, make the door swing open or whatever. So you would refer that maybe to a handyman, pick up the maintenance, and that's what you're really looking to do, is pick up the maintenance programs.
Right, and and when I find something, hey, we got a problem here, and I've got somebody for you, highly rated, trustworthy, and I back all those people up.
All right. Tim, we're going to go to break here soon, but how does somebody get a hold of you?
My phone number is 407-718-8068. They can call me, and I love just talking to people, ask questions, and just inform them and see how I can help them.
That's amazing. All right. Well, don't go anywhere. We're going to give some thanks to our sponsors here on a quick commercial. I was going to say an infomercial here. We're on the radio, but we'll cut this out for our fun afterwards. So we'll be right back after the break. All right. We're back after the break. Contractor Talk with Richie Kidwell live every Monday night, 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. on 94.9 FM, 950 on the AM dial here in Central Florida. And then we're on podcast after that, Spotify, iTunes, and of course on YouTube. Like us, subscribe us there so you can watch our video podcast here. But if you're a streaming kind of person like I am, Spotify is the easiest way. iTunes, if you have an Apple phone, then you'll be able to make sure that you don't miss a show. Every Monday night we record it live, and then about, I would say, Wednesday or Thursday that same week, you'll hear the podcast go on live. You'll be able to subscribe us on that type of a venue as well, and don't miss a show. So today we have our guest with, how did we decide to go with it? My maintenance man, Tim. I like that. Or Tim the maintenance man. My maintenance man.
My maintenance man, Tim.
I love it. All right, my maintenance man, Tim. He's my man. My maintenance man. I love that. So make sure you guys, when he's giving out his phone number, so make sure you get out your phone and put in my maintenance man, Tim. And if you need somebody to come out, check on your home on a monthly, bi-monthly, or quarterly basis, whether it be from the gutters to hot water tank. Somebody told me I shouldn't call it a hot. Yeah, no, it's more of a hot water tank than a hot water machine. Anyways, to make sure those lines are clear, make sure that you're ready for any type of disaster, not just a hurricane that comes over your home, but to be proactive and not reactive. I say that for myself more or less because that's the kind of guy that I am. I'm more or less waiting for something to happen, but being on the preventative side of things ensures that that you're successful through these seasons, and I'll call them the crazy seasons, as we're just about to see now. I think we talked about it. We're almost up to D's now, and it's still middle July. I mean, our season hasn't even started yet. We'll start to see some really big events. I would say September, maybe August, but mostly September, October is where we're going to see more of our storm season historically anyways.
Which is much different, I would say, because back 20 years ago, most of the storms were July and August. I mean, you can look at Charlie, Francis, Ivan, Gene, and those were all in July, because I know one of my kids was born in the middle of all that.
No kidding.
He just turned 21, so I can tell you it's been 21 years since all that happened right now. So yeah, we've definitely seen the season move later. I mean, the idea of having a big storm in October or even potentially into November historically was really not very common. So it's definitely changed. I think things have gotten, generally more intense and more numerous than they did before. You keep in mind, we went from 2005 until 2016 without a hurricane of any real note. Last one was Wilma in 2005. Next one of any real note was Hurricane Matthew in 2016.
Yeah.
They went a decade with basically no hurricanes, which is crazy when you think about how it is now. That's why Frontline and some of those guys survived. They opened essentially right after all those storms, went about a decade without having any real money to pay.
Right.
That's how some of them done so well. I mean, Avatar came at the wrong time.
Right. Yeah, they did.
I mean, some of the failures of the insurance companies we hear about, like you read about in the news, it's no different than opening a restaurant. I mean, like half of all restaurants fail within a year or 6 months or something like that. You can pick a bad time to open an insurance company if you don't have enough funding. So the legislature talks about, these insurers going bankrupt. Well, they weren't that heavily financed to start.
Right.
The state doesn't require a great amount of funding in the big scheme of things, $10 million essentially in assets to pay, which isn't a lot. If you insure 10,000 homes, it doesn't take much to get to that 10 million.
Right.
So I think a lot of times when people talk about the crisis of insurers going bankrupt, it's because they're like a bad restaurant. I mean, they opened at the wrong time without enough capitalization. They couldn't get over the time and the hump it took to get there. So before people say, "Oh my God, they're all going out of business because of fraudulent claims and bad business dealings," no, they get hit by a hurricane. Nothing like ever the business does and happens and has.
Yeah. I mean, it's a perfect storm of reinsurance charging them out the yin-yang to cover Florida since the hurricane started in 2016, where they fired back up again. You saw reinsurance rates jump through the roof to the point to where in 2019, 2020, that made up 50% of every single penny that was paid into premium went back out the door for reinsurance, which was one of the major reasons outside of bad business practices. You mentioned Avatar. That was just a scrapper that made bad business practices. They fought everything.
Yep.
It's like a claim. They're like, boom, let's go to war. It's like, what? That's your client. Like that. Why are you going to war with all of your clients? It's crazy.
Which makes sense because we've read a lot of articles that the average claim is about $11,000 non-litigated, and the average litigated claim is around $40,000. What it costs the insurer. So an outfit like Avatar spent their time spending $40,000 a claim fighting them instead of $11,000 a claim paying them, and that's why they ended up, I think, going out of business in the end.
Right.
But I was going to ask Tim, I know every time like my air conditioning guy comes over and I go, when can you come back? He said, just call me when you need me. And I always go, well, but isn't that, can you call me when I need you? Like, can you call me every 6 months and say, hey, it's time for you to come over? And a lot of the guys are so busy. He's like,
unless it's an emergency, right?
Yeah, right. He's like, just if something happens, just call me. But that's what I was going to say. So if we set up a plan with you that's every month or every 3 months or every 6 months, I assume you call me and go, hey, it's time for us to come out and see your house again.
Yep, you're on a schedule. Call ahead, make sure it works for you.
Right.
Get there and take care of everything you need to get done.
Because that's always like being reactive. I'm actually a very proactive guy. I just run out of time. Like I'm happy to go. Look, whenever you, like I said, just come by whenever you think you need to, and that's when a lot of guys just go, well, just call me when you call me an email. I'm like, that's the problem. When I need you, it's an emergency. I want you to come over when I don't need you.
Right.
So then I don't have an emergency later. Is what I'm trying to avoid here if I can.
Yeah, that was one of the main thoughts behind the maintenance piece was just eliminating you having to call when you need someone. And we've put together some packages that are geared towards. Some are geared more towards. I'll say elderly, that just something simple. They need their basics done every month, and I can put eyes on everything and make sure that's where I get my satisfaction from is being able to help someone, even if I find something that was coming, and that makes me feel good, right? I helped them out, and I can set them up with somebody else, or as you mentioned, not only you don't want to, but you don't have the time.
Right.
And some customers just want everything done. They want, your biggest investment. How much money are we spending on cutting the grass every week?
Which I thought was a great example because you think about that. We pay every month. I don't think twice about paying the lawn guy because someone's got to cut the lawn.
Right.
But if I were to say to my wife, hey, let's do this plan, she goes, $100 a month. Well, that's crazy. That's crazy. But you pay to cut grass double, triple that, and not even really bat an eye.
Or your pool guy,
right?
I fired my pool guy. I did it for like 3 weeks, and I was like, went back through the paper and got a new pool guy. That's for sure.
Because all of a sudden Richie's living in the Black Lagoon out back. It's all gone green on you.
Don't go back there.
Yeah, bad things are happening.
Is that an alligator? So what type of maintenance services are included in your packages? Because I mean, we don't want people calling you to say, "Hey, can you come and mow my lawn?" So what packages do you offer for the average, all the way up to the elderly?
Yeah. So the basic package has the most important stuff, the air conditioning, going through checking all your toilets, under the sinks, working all the valves to prevent that thing from not seizing up after 9 years and no one ever turned it. And then getting on the roof, checking your gutters. Or if you don't have gutters, still getting on the roof, right? Your two biggest problems at the house, right? Roof and air conditioning.
Yep. And plumbing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you were saying with the valves and all that. In some worlds, there are like, say, the rental space or the second home where nobody's there much, and you have this water hammer that's that is created from just no activity, no water in the lines at all. Somebody comes in there and turns it on, and it shoots through it, and all of a sudden an elbow just bust, and there's water everywhere.
Yeah.
And so you're there to help prevent that type of stuff. You're able to run the water, run everything. Then for some of us folks that have homes in places that people haven't been there in quite some time.
Right. Something else we were talking about hurricanes, and if you do have a generator, when was the last time you ran the generator? When was the last time is your fuel treated or is the fuel going bad?
I was going to ask the very thing. I have a guy coming out next week. So I ran it last year for Milton. For Milton last year.
That's when I fired mine up.
And I was a brand new one. I had not fired it up yet. I was like, so all of a sudden, the hurricane come, you're like, oh, come on, baby. All right, let's
do you leave the gas in there? Like, because what are you going to do? Drain it?
I ran mine out. I just let it run. But then I think I got some bad fuel. I think by the end, I used it for a week. We were out of power for a week with Milton. And day 4, I fired it up and it was like, but it was whatever that and which I'm not a professional noisemaker.
Can you diagnose that based off of the sound?
Bad fuel?
Seems like a fuel misfire there.
So, but I have a guy coming out actually next week because I've not fired it up since then. The battery did go dead because I did unhook it, but I didn't trickle charge it. I didn't, so I was proud of myself for unhooking it. And I ran it myself that whole week. But I have a guy coming out to do that, to change out the fuel, change out the filter, because otherwise it'll be the same thing. The warnings will come, and I'll be standing out there in my big shed, exactly
trying to start it,
electric start it. And then he thought it might be
fuel.
You
got an electric starter? I got the pull thing.
No, I have electric. Yeah, electric.
Man.
And then, but I'm also having him install. This might be kind of cool. It takes gasoline now. Runs unleaded. You run ethanol-free gasoline. But there's a converter you can run LP gas with. So he's going to install this LP gas thing. So if I run out of gas and run out of liquid fuel, I can actually run it on LP. So we're gonna do that.
Liquid photon?
It's not Star Wars.
All right.
It's just liquid it's just propane. There's no stormtrooper or anything like that. My photon gun is not working.
It's empty.
It's empty. But yes, we're doing that. So that's one of the things I was going to ask Tim about was the generator because it goes all season with nothing. No one runs it at all.
Well,
I'm always terrified.
Just another preventative tip that we can, be ready.
Yeah.
Be ready.
Good.
And keep us from calling the professionals in for a big bill.
All right. If you still have your phones out, my maintenance man, Tim, how do we get a hold of you?
Number is 407-718-8068. I'd love to talk to you, answer any questions, see what we can help you with.
That's awesome. It's awesome. Do you have a website up or any other an email account? How else can they get a hold of you?
We're changing the website over right now.
All right.
And the email is service@maintenance.com.
Perfect. Love it. At maintenance.com. Did you get that website? That's amazing. All right, we'll take a break. We'll be right back with Contractor Talk with Richie Kidwell. All right, and we're back. Contractor Talk with Richie Kidwell every Monday night, 94.9 FM, 950 on the AM dial, right here in this fine studio in Central Florida. You'll be able to hear us. If you happen to miss the show and you're just now tuning in, and you missed the whole entire thing, go check us out on Spotify in a couple of days or on iTunes. You'll be able to catch this show. You'll be able to hear our guest, get his phone number, and everything that you need to have maintenance done on your home or your commercial business. From here, our guest with my maintenance man, Tim. And thanks so much for being here with the show, throughout the show. And like I said, if you're listening to us on the radio, you get another shot to hear us again and also see us. Watch this show live. Well, not live, Anyways, watch the show on YouTube. So like and subscribe us there. Contractor Talk with Richie Kidwell is how you find us on YouTube. Like I said, subscribe us there. You won't be able to miss a show at that point. It'll just ding right on your phone. Boom. In a few days after this show, like I said, you'll be able to see it on YouTube and be able to get it on any type of platform that you listen to. So awesome, man. With this, we were talking offline about about your maintenance packages here, Tim. Can you tell me a little bit more about because we got cut off there. We got so excited about talking about the generator stuff and all the other maintenance stuff. But tell us about the packages that you offer, whether it be monthly, bi-monthly, and quarterly. And from what I understand, you can make a custom type of maintenance plan. But give me your bread and butter, the one that people order the most.
It's the monthly plan.
Is it?
again, we went over all the safety, the smoke detectors, the fire extinguishers, and obviously inspecting the roof. And again, the biggest stuff is the preventative. And when I'm there, I'm looking at everything. I'm checking out your fence. I'm looking. I had
a fireplace maybe and other things like that.
Yeah. I've got some people that rarely go outside. And the lawn's overgrown, and some of them aren't driving anymore. And again, I get great satisfaction with helping these people at least stay safe.
Peace of mind.
And like I mentioned, always the air conditioning and all the water, anything that's going to cause a lot of damage. I had a lady the other day that she had no idea that she had critters in her shed. And we had to call in a pest control person, and that happens quick, and it's hard to detect them. But unless you're looking, it can that can turn ugly quick, and it's happened to me in my shed actually before.
Oh yeah, it can happen quickly. First you have a little hole, next thing you know, there's like pieces of stuff everywhere from little rodents coming in. Those guys are quick.
You got a family in the attic there, yeah.
Right. There's so many times I was a pest control guy in my prior life, and we would there'd be bats in the attic. There would be that we'd get calls on, and then those are kind of fun to deal with. But then there'd be some nasty stuff in there, or just dead stuff, after a while. And it's just like, okay, so the smell's gone, but now we have an insane amount of like flies. I've many calls on that, and anyway, so just being preventative on that is just something I think it's great, because many times that I've walked into those environments and I'm like, okay, like you said, a lot of these people are just kind of like hoping for the best. Maybe they're not going outside, they're not seeing that their lawn is overgrown. In this case, not knowing what's going on in their attic, that could be a big problem later on. And so you're checking those weird areas, the attic, maybe even the crawl spaces, the bigger ticket items, and like we were saying, and even to the movable ones, or like going into storm season in your garage, we were talking about before, looking at that generator, going, when's the last time I started that? But customizable monthly maintenance plan is what your go-to is. Is that right?
Right. Because not everybody has a water softener, and not everybody has gutters. It just depends on the house. So we almost have to customize something for you.
Yeah.
Hans, you mentioned the attic. When was the last time? Talking to everybody. When was the last time you were in your attic? And we just talked about critters.
When we bought it. When I bought the house, I went there inside there with the home inspector.
Yeah, and a loose soffit or something falling down, and next thing you know, you got family raccoons up there. So it's just part of the inspection process. And you mentioned the roof. Just going up on the roof, just looking for problems to avoid a huge bill down the road.
So if somebody contacts you, then is it do you go to their home, give them a free custom estimate then?
Free estimate. We go over everything. I want to know what they need, and we're not limited to. If you need me to once a month, once every other month, you need me to check the fluids in your car, I'll throw that in there.
All right.
And then if you've got something odd, we can discuss it. I'm open to anything. I just enjoy what I do. I enjoy helping people.
Yeah, we were talking. We were right before the show. Hans and I were kind of talking with you. We're like, all right, what other kind of custom stuff? Because we were curious. It was like, boats, planes. What other kind of stuff? Go in that direction. And but truly, yeah. Somebody that you can trust come out to your home or your office space, because you do residential and commercial. Isn't that right?
Small commercial, yes.
Okay, and just check things within there, the windows, the big AC stuff, make sure there's no blockages, that kind of thing. Like I said, many times we don't go in those small spaces, whether it be the attics and crawl spaces and such. So it's great to have somebody that does offer that service, and on that rotation. There's something about the one time, hey, I need you now. That reactive call to you of saying, oh my gosh, I've got a family of raccoons in my attic. What can I do? Well, if you would have had my maintenance program, I would have been able to close that for you. But anyways, here we are today, right? So, it's always that. And to Hans' point is like, many of us don't like, we think about it like, oh yeah, I'm going to call that guy back 3 months, and 3 months later have him come back and redo my AC, block, blow out my lines and all that kind of stuff. And then life happens, and it's a year or two later, and you're like, oh man, I never called that guy, man. I wish you would have called me in 3 months. I would have been like, oh yeah.
Yeah, I would all day long, I would have been like, come on out.
Right.
Come on out.
Yeah, I totally forgot. Come on out. And that's something that you offer. Let's say if we did a customizable quarterly plan with you, then you're calling us in 3 months. Right?
Oh yeah.
I'm not getting out of it. You're coming
no.
over.
I'm coming out, and calling ahead, setting up an appointment. So there's some people like to be home, some people don't need to be home, and get your maintenance done. And you had we mentioned one of the things is the soffit is with the wind and our storms, they're constantly loosening, blowing down, missing. I actually repaired a home the other day. They were on vacation. Went over. There was 4 places in the soffit that had blown open, and they had recently had a pest control company out. And took care of the problem in the attic, and then I came in and sealed everything up.
Oh, nice.
How about like exterior inspection? Like we always talk about on the show, about like keep an eye on the stucco for cracks, things along those lines. For water, where water can penetrate the home, breaks in the stucco, cracks in the stucco. Is that part of one of the plans that says like walk around your house and check for stucco cracks or things along those lines?
That's one of the staples. That's one of the basics. Walk around, check all the windows. While we're checking the windows and the doors, we're checking the weather stripping. We're checking the caulking, making sure everything is sealed. And as you pointed out, matter of fact, I'm repairing my house right now. I got some water and up front, and my wife loves the way the front of the house looks right now. And we're repairing it because it got in there. So that's just part of the. Just looking for problems, preventative.
How about drains? If I have a backed up drain.
We clean the drains however often you want. I clean mine every quarter. When I had one of the girls was living with us, she's moved out. I had to clean hers a little more often.
Right, that's what I'm thinking.
It depends.
Right.
As needed. But that's one of the. That's not the basic plan. That's the middle plan.
Right.
But again, customizable, and we can take care of anything for anybody.
I'm trying to think of things while we're sitting here.
Right. Other thing, I mean, the drain thing was good because it's like who does that? But well needed, right? But now with we talk a lot about preventative maintenance, just as looking through the glass of property insurance and coverages and such like that. And many times we talk about documentation.
There you go.
And many people that have that do the preventative maintenance are always in a much better spot. Especially if it's documented that this was inspected and it was a certain condition. The condition was good. And I checked it on this date. So are you offering documentation to the homeowner as well post-inspection? Or how does that work?
Yes. Everything that we check, there's a report, and they'll see. Certain things we'll even take pictures of. It's definitely if there's issues or I have a suggestion, hey, this isn't this isn't looking so good. We need to do something about this.
Right. Like the 4 missing soffits that were lifted, right? You're like, that you see those soffits? Those are all there, but that one's not, right? So that's the time for the picture, right? I would imagine.
One of the other big things I find is, especially with all this rain we're getting, slick driveways, slick entryways, and the pools. If it's a small area or whatever, I can I'll pressure wash that. But again, if we're looking at large areas or you need a house wash, I've got a company that can come out and do a soft wash on your house or pressure wash the entire driveway, whatever that may be.
No, it's good. I mean, and everybody needs that I think about it like if I had a house and I had a maintenance company that was, like a real estate company, you expect your management company, that's what I was looking for, to come out and inspect your home and give you details with that. But shy of that, you offer that service, to go and check everything out, offer photos, but definitely detail everything that you did within that inspection or in that maintenance period, which is fantastic for what we talk about all the time in the show is making sure that you properly maintain your home so you don't get that excuse, right, Hans? Every excuse that the insurance company starts off with is, well, it was improperly maintained, it was wear and tear, it was foot traffic, or it was all these other issues.
The defective installation, workmanship, maintenance,
lack of maintenance,
neglect. The list kind of goes on and on. Then you go into wear and tear, marring, deterioration, decay, inherent vice, things that will otherwise destroy themselves over time. All those things are typically the first line of exclusions that we see in those coverage denial letters.
That's right. And not being properly maintained is going to put you in a worse spot. And so, Hans, just coming out of this trial victory against Universal Property, and yet another notch on the belt. If somebody does have questions and they do want to talk to you about any type of insurance dispute, how do they get a hold of you?
Sure. My cell phone is 407-782-0258. That's 407-782-0258. And maintenance was actually a primary defense in this case, as well as the neglect, material misrepresentation, and presentation of a claim. Everything that where you might be questioned as to what you did was on the table in this case.
Right. They had the records, they had the documentation to be able to say, my house wasn't improperly maintained.
Yep.
Here are the records. And having a monthly, bi-monthly, or quarterly maintenance program is going to help you to be prepared in case you do have that one claim that you have to file, which is the average. Once in a lifetime or once every 10 years if somebody deals with a property-related claim, believe that or not. And so, but be ready for that time and be prepared. Have maintenance done by my maintenance man, Tim. And one more time, how do we get a hold of you, Tim?
My phone number is 407-718-8068.
Beautiful. All right. Talk to you guys next week. See you.